A lot of people ask me how I went from being in the music industry, where I was a touring musician and a concert promoter, to a toy store owner. There's actually kind of an interesting story that kind of bridges the gap between those two. Um, I turned 40, knew I wouldn't want to be on the road anymore, and I wanted to stay home with my family, with my wife and my dogs. And I just didn't know what I wanted to be when I grow up. And my wife, who's a nurse and also been in the medical field for quite a while, urged me to kind of test out some things in the medical field. And my mother, who passed away about a year ago, she had lung cancer, COPD, a lot of respiratory issues from being a long-term smoker. I kind of felt like respiratory was the way to go. So I went and got my RRT, which is the respiratory degree. I worked really hard, was one of the oldest people in my class, a graduated student of the year, 4.0, really put the pedal to the metal to get that done. I'm a person that's filled with empathy, and I want to make sure everyone's happy, and I want to help everybody. And medical field is very hard to do that, because every time you help somebody take a step or two forward, a lot of times they take two steps back. And for me, I found myself taking all that home. I'd have 18 patients in a day, and I'd come home just worried about them all. And I just felt like that was just consuming me quite a bit as a person, trying to accept that I can't help everybody. So my wife and I were talking, like, what else could I do? I still wanted to stay and do respiratory and still do it part-time, but I just needed to do something else. The stress was getting a lot, and I just didn't feel like it was too healthy for me to be doing that all the time. So we'd been doing conventions through me being a respiratory therapist, and it just seemed like we were literally walking downtown Lawrence one day. We saw a sign in the window, we met with the landlord, and we signed the lease that day. It kind of happened that fast. So now with what's going on with the COVID epidemic here has kind of put a screeching halt to business. Everything was just going great. We finally got our bearings. We've been open, brick and mortar for well over a year. And then when this hit, the kind of bottom fell out, and within the last month, sales went from fantastic to barely happening. We've been relying a lot more on shipping out and online sales and curbside pickup. But for me, the reason I do this is I want the interaction with the people. And if the store had to morph into a strictly online entity, I would probably bow out, because for me, it's about talking to the people, having the nerd fandom to enjoy with each other. It's been I always say this, I post this all the time, that the people that come in the store and support the store are the best human beings in the entire planet. We attract the most amazing people at this store, and this virus is scary, and it's no joke. Now in the interim of we're in a 30-day shutdown here in Lawrence, Kansas, where non-essential stores are closed down, which unfortunately a toy store is not essential. I've gone back to working at the hospital full-time, because the hospitals here really, really need our help. As far as being a respiratory therapist, we're on the front line of the virus, and it's scary, but I have to be there for my community, and I'm actually kind of glad that I can put hours in to really help people and help make sure that we all get through this in one piece, and we'll come out the other side, but it's going to be a while, and it's going to be a workout.